and you've thought I forgot about you all. Welcome back. Another episode number 8. So I think I already mentioned that in another part of this podcast. But yeah, here we are again. Back in the even numbers, slowly making our way up to the double digits. And slowly getting nowhere with this lockdown. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Technically, it's everywhere, I guess. So, anyways, yeah, I talk about a few things in this episode, and I bring up that I'm going to be starting another YouTube channel in addition to picking my nose, apparently. But in addition to the one for this one, the Jankity Ass Podcast on YouTube and on Instagram and on iTunes and Spotify, Twitcher, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, actually, not Twitcher. But yeah, it's going to be more of a hobby-oriented channel. It's not going to be a podcast just because of it's a visual thing, right? Actually, speaking of Twitch, I wish it would be nice to. I do kind of want to figure out a way to start it would be nice to start a Twitch channel, but my living situation doesn't really allow for that. I won't get into details, but it's just easier to worry about that later. What a great way to start off. What's up, Closeteers? Another week, another show, number 8 this time. Just having my sip. Had a little bit of a smoke already. I probably did practice my scatting. No, I'll probably get a couple more hits in here as I'm talking to you fine people. So let's see what's happened since I last saw you guys. Or since you last saw me, I guess I should say, since I can't see anybody. I would like to see some of your comments. Also, go to my Instagram page, jankity.ass.podcast. Leave a DM. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want me to think. Whatever. Just do it. All right. Do the work. Do your own work. I think if I ever get around to selling merch, that's probably going to be something like that. Is going to be definitely one of my slogans. Although probably not a real slogan. I'm sure if I ever try to monetize something like do your own work, I'd probably get sued. Disney style. Well, I'm definitely never going to have them as a sponsor. But whatever. Which actually that reminds me. Well, yeah, that reminds me of something I'm going to tie in a little bit later. But, so yeah, things that have been going on this last week. Finally got to start seeing UFC again. Whew. It went to a friend's house, saw the fight that they had last weekend, and then they also had another round yesterday, which today's Sunday, so yesterday was Saturday, which is one of the things that I thought was interesting as I was watching the UFC matches last weekend, is that, well, as you know, the way things are, there's no audience for any events. That's like the only way that it's even conceivable for sporting events to be open with, you know, the whole pandemic lockdown going on. So the UFC did their matches without any audience, understandably. What I thought was interesting is, you know, if you're really paying attention, obviously everything outside of the ring is black. There's no lights on. Makes sense, because why do you want to look at the crowd anyway? But if you're paying attention, you can see they still have the like the electronic banners. If I don't know if you've ever been in like inside of an auditorium, like a basketball auditorium or something like that, but in the space like above the floor deck and below the upper deck of seatings, and usually like right where the sports boxes are, there's always the like one of those electronic banners running throughout the circumference, or it's circumference. I always get those mixed up, circumference, radius, diameter. But around the circumference they have that electric banner running. That always have like some messages or colors or something like that, like, go Jays or what have you. Well, you could tell. The point I'm making is if you were watching the matches, at least last weekend, I didn't see this weekend because I was trying to make some money. But it becomes apparent that they still rented out an entire arena because you can see the banner in the background. And I imagine that's got to cost a lot of money. Not as much as Dana's private island level of money, but still, just to rent out an empty auditorium is probably in the six figures, I would imagine. But at least it means that some industries are at least trying to figure out a way to get things to work with everything being shut down and all. So that's a good thing, and definitely what we're going to need to get people out of all of this is just different innovation. That's what I want to say. Different levels of innovation from different people. And when I say different levels, I for example am innovating by starting this podcast and also starting to work, doing a little bit of a contractor delivery, which is a fancy way of saying Postmates. So I'm being innovative for my own situation, but in the case of the UFC and them still trying to figure out how to have their events, they're being innovative in a way for not just whoever's in charge over there, but to keep people keeping their jobs, and also for the customers and the fans, keep giving them something. Well, not giving, selling, but regardless, I think I would imagine even now there's plenty of people would want to rather buy something that they want than save their money. I actually kind of suffer from the same thing, being that my one of my parents is from out of the country, so I have that immigrant gene, which makes this pandemic kind of especially hard on me, because one of my personal releases is I gotta go wander around the mall every once in a while for like an hour and look at all the shiny shit that I know I'm not gonna buy, but maybe I will. You never know. But and I completely lost track of where I was going with that. I got some more articles for you. Time for a little more post-apocalypse. So the first one I got for you is a bit of a sad one. Comedian Jerry Stiller, Seinfeld star and father of a little-known guy named Ben Stiller, has passed away at the age of 92. That's pretty damn good. That's living on Hollywood money there. Anyways, Jerry's. We've all seen something with Jerry in it. I think most notably he played. He was the dad in Zoolander, at least in the first one. I never actually got around to seeing the second Zoolander movie, but yeah, he plays the dad to Derek Zoolander, who is actually also played by his son, Ben Stiller. God, what the fuck other show? Sorry about that. I got hair in my tongue. Probably since it's no hat week this time around. But fuck, what was he in? He was in another TV show. I want to say Seinfeld, but I don't think. Maybe he was in Seinfeld. Probably. I'm sure a lot of people were in Seinfeld. He was around that demographic. But anyways, so yeah, unfortunately he's passed away. And also another great comedian and actor from that time too. I don't know if you guys know. Well, I'm sure you guys know. Obviously, you know. Fred Willard has also passed away a little bit more recently. Jerry's happened about a week or two ago now. But so yeah, they will both be missed. Let's see. Dead air, dead air. This was a funny one. Woman mauled to death by her French bulldog. I'll post the link in the comments. It's a satire, obviously. For those of you who don't know, French bulldogs are they're the little ones like this that have they got like the little ears and the squat smash faces. I'll put one up for you right here. But obviously you can't be mauled. You probably can't. I don't think a French bulldog could feasibly kill a human being that wasn't, more than 1 year old. An infant, probably. I mean, you're talking about like a newborn. Anything can kill that. But hell, by that standard, most of us are just lucky to be here. Let's see. I'm pretty sure. I know I had. That was one from last week. Don't need that anymore. Oh, yeah. For this one isn't an article, but just a little side note. I might as well give it a shout out for those of you who live in LA, and most notably, more importantly, that's what I meant to say. If you live in the Valley, in the NoHo area, my usual... Ooh, fuck. I'm drinking, by the way. Ties into the story. My old watering hole, which is... Obviously, it's closed right now. But... a place called The Other Door. It's a nice, funky little bar. They, Until recently, they were the kind of bar that like their TVs would have like old movies and stuff on, and they would have their own funky little curated playlists, which I'm hoping that they come through because, well, I mean, in addition to being a cool little bar, they also were one of my main open mic spot that I used to go to. So, yeah, hopefully they're going to be coming back here by the end of all this. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'd have to, I'm not sure which phase of the, I'll talk about that too. Making a compilation someday. Or, well, hopefully somebody else does it. I'm not going to do that. Do your own work. Hashtag do your own work. You know what? I'm going to write that down right now, actually. But anyways, so this bar, The Other Door, they are selling, they're selling off their current inventory to, try and make money. And stay afloat. So, if you're one of the blessed few who are actually listening to this podcast right now, and you got some money, and you got some room in your in the old liver, head on down and get some beer, some whatchamacallem. Fuck, I want to say cocktails, but cocktails don't come in the bottle. Liquor. Get some liquor. And they're also apparently doing like a tasting packages and care packages that you can get for yourself or a friend. And lastly, this is not an ad. This is just my own personal little shout out. But anyways, so yeah, adding that to the notes. Hashtag do your own work. And I will find a way to sell that somehow. Might be soon, might be years in the future. Hopefully not. But, well, I wonder if I can hear my neck pop in the microphone. Let's see. Oh, I guess I just don't have it today. I used to be able to do, I used to be able to pop my neck in like a bowstring type of situation where there was a time where what I would do is, try this at home, but also don't try this at home. Be careful doing this. But if you put your head back here on the kind of the base of your skull, right above your neck, and then what you do is you just push your hand into your head, and your head into your hand, and then your shoulder should pull your spine like a bowstring, and sometimes I used to get some pretty good pops where I'd get like a good 5 pops like right in the upper back, which that's a hard area to get too. But like I said, be careful because you don't want to fuck yourself up. But at the same time, from what I understand, popping your your joints is actually natural, because it, for the most part, well, whenever you pop a joint, it's one of two things. It's either you are dissipating a gas buildup that in your joints, or it's actually one of your tendons, just kind of slipping over a joint, which is kind of more like what happens in the wrist whenever you pop that, or like your fingers. Oh, here, we probably hear this one. Oh, yeah. Hopefully that shows up, or picks up in the edit. Let's see, I do have some news that I want to bring up. It's funny, I was actually just thinking about how in like a year or from now, I could probably make like a hour-long compilation of just me going on the pod. Which is again another reason why I started doing this, is to kind of see, there it is, to help my speech, more to help what comes out of my mouth to be as structured as what enters my brain, I guess you could say. However, the news that I wanted to bring up is if you're watching, you'll probably notice that, I have all my, I have different models up here under the sign behind me. Like, why is that? Why isn't he talking about it? Well, this one time I will talk about it. It's because one of my, I'm a geek at heart, right? But unlike other self-proclaimed geeks, for me, it isn't, Star Wars or Star Trek or Lord of the Rings. For me, it's a little game I like to play called Warhammer 40,000, which is a, I got some dust on this thing. It's a war game type of thing, played with miniature models. And this is an example of a gun emplacement And so the model for a person is actually going to be about yay high, so like 1.5 inches for a regular human. But it also, there's also a lot of lore behind 40K, and the short version is it's called 40K because it's set on or around the 40th millennium, right? So, aka the year 40,000. Actually, in the story, it's more like 42,136 or what have you. It's in the future. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it's basically about, humanity trying to survive in the galaxy while being, attacked by different forms of aliens, and also chaos, which is, essentially evil. Which I'm already, it's very complicated. I'm already kind of high, so I'm not even going to try and explain it. But, and yeah, there's plenty of resources if you want to go find out yourself. Just, go out and Google Warhammer 40K or WH40K, and, just look for yourself. Do your own work. Callback. Expert callback. Just like I'm calling back this beer. And before I get to the actual news that I keep skipping over, taking a little hit for you guys. Fortunately, I got my coughing out of the way before I started recording on y'all. Maybe I lied. However, the news. So, one of the main reasons that I really like this game, Warhammer 40K, is because it's not just something that you just like sit down and play. It's it also uses your creativity and artistic talents, because all of the pieces that you use, the models, they come in model kits, so you have to build them and prime them up and paint them however you want, and then even just that alone is an undertaking. And then there's learning the game itself and what have you. But the way I like to explain the lore of 40K is imagine if Star Wars had an older brother who had been on PCP for the last 10 years, and that's basically what Warhammer 40K is. And it's called, it's referred to as the Grim Dark for a reason. But this fucking fan's blowing weed all over me. But yeah, like I've been saying, do your own work. Look it up. Now, the news that I've skipped over the third time is I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and make another little YouTube series. I haven't come up with a name for it, but it'll basically just be me, painting up some of my models and, talking a little bit of shit here and there. I'll be, unlike the podcast, I'll be using some more metal for my in between drops, sound effects. And I'm also going to be toying a lot with speeding up parts of the painting process in film. So I guess in a way, it's not so much about me showing off my paint skills that I'm trying to do, but it's kind of more just like, entertaining myself, and I feel like having the sped up paint processes will probably hit the same nerves that ASMR does for some people in a way. Or like, I don't know if you ever go on Facebook and see like those satisfying compilation videos of like stuff being made, or like a crack being filled with hot tar. Saw that one earlier. Or something like that. It's all about entertainment and, getting hits, getting likes and views and all of that. And yeah, I think that's becoming my lot in life, is to entertain people in a way. I guess you could say I kind of always wanted to, even though my my first chosen career path was working in visual effects. It was still, working in entertaining other people. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I've always had it in me, and now it's coming out of me in the form of this podcast. Originally, I'd wanted to do in the form of stand-up, but, well, we're waiting to see what happens there. So for right now, you got me in this, and then soon you're also going to have me in a YouTube channel. Another YouTube channel, doing cool stuff. And speaking of podcasts, I guess the last thing that I wanted to touch on, at least it just sort of grabbed my attention, was, I know in a couple of previous episodes I gave out a shout out to a couple different podcasts that I'd been listening to at the time, or what have you, but one that I really, really liked was the Call Her Daddy podcast, which is basically it's a couple girls do a podcast basically just like all about sex and relationship stuff, and it's it's lewd and hilarious for entertainment purposes, not educational purposes. But more importantly to the story is they were doing their podcast through Barstool Sports out in New York. Big success and all that. And well, to make a long story short, some people got involved, and they kind of ended up starting the process of trying to break their contract. And well, they haven't been on they haven't made a new episode in like a few months now. So basically, it's a story about greed. Basically, that's just what it is, greed, and I would imagine a little bit of leading on misconception, and I want to say gaslighting that just drives a wedge between people. Ugh. Sorry, I'm drinking on y'all there, but you know what? You're gonna hear the sounds, because somebody somewhere likes that. Probably some old Japanese businessman just wants to hear me drinking out of a Camelback water bottle all day. But I mean, I'll take it. That's something. At least somebody wants what I do. That's what matters. What was I saying? Oh, I forget. Oh, yeah, but like I was saying, Call Her Daddy. I like that show, but I'd be very surprised if they weren't, just done. And yeah, greed kills everything. last but not least, like I said, I am drinking again. That sounded bad, but I am sharing a moment. Fuck, you know what? Forget what I just said. Anyways, what I'm having today, I told you about a brand that I like, Belching Beaver. This time, I'm trying out their Mango IPA. Sorry about the, let's see if there's, here we go. I think you can see the logo a little bit better. I got a ring light on my camera, so it kind of blows out anything close. It's actually called Here Comes Mango IPA by Belching Beaver Brewery. Oh shit, 6.6%. Well, whatever. Good way to start off a Monday night. It's not like I got anywhere to go. Let's see what else. Oh, I also picked up their one of their other lines. No. Yes. Maybe. I think so. What flavors? Let's go with that. One of their other flavors. They have another flavor that I hadn't quite seen before. It's just a straight up Mexican style lager. And well, one thing I will say. Oh, and also, they have one thing that I haven't really tried out yet. They have a few different seltzer flavors. They're basically just kind of trying to follow the market a little bit after White Claw blew up, and then Budweiser came out with their own seltzer. So Belching Beaver also has a seltzer, not quite as many flavors, but it's cool. And I do kind of like them because they're well, I don't know if they're really a small. I wonder. I'm pretty sure that they. As far as I can tell, they don't have a parent company. Yeah. Nope, they're independent. Brewed and canned by Belching Beaver Brewery, Oceanside, California. So, there you go. Check them out. And do it yourself. Do your own fucking work. I should hashtag one too. Hashtag do your own work. Hashtag do your own fucking work. God damn it. Oh. Shit. I fucked that up. Like I said in another part of the podcast, I am an atheist, which means that I don't actually have a religion. And I think probably the most awkward part of that has been not saying God damn it anymore, because that's just like a leftover, relic of, well, I guess, childhood. Although I never really grew up with religion in my childhood, and honestly I have no idea what that has to do with beer. Although, you know what? Yes, I do, because some of the most renowned breweries are actually monk hoods. I guess monasteries. That's what I was trying to think of. You have a lot of monasteries that brew their own beer. Not around here though. That's a European thing. I've actually only been to Europe once in my life. When I was a kid, I went to Belgium for a soccer program, because I used to play soccer when I was a little kid, or football as they call it. Not as I call it, just fucking whatever. But what's funny is so like I said before, my childhood, I grew up in the Midwest, and so this program that I went to was actually what I didn't realize before, and I had no way of understanding it. It was actually like a method of it was like grooming young athletes for the Olympics, I suppose, or like scouting out. You know what I mean? And what's funny is, so a lot of the people on my, some of my old teams when I was in grade school had also been selected to go, but none of them went because they didn't think that anybody else was going. So everybody just kind of screwed themselves and missed out. But I think it was also costed a bit of money too, I believe. I'm not sure. I was a little kid, and my dad went with me and kind of handled everything. But that was down in Belgium, or up and over, actually. I guess since technically we're lower latitude than all of Europe, or at least I am here in California. But yeah, it was an interesting time. We got to tour, bus around a little bit in Brussels and Bruges, and there was a bunch of teams. There was a bunch of American teams of different ages, and then there were also the same amount of teams made up of Belgian kids. And so since I was the only one from my area to actually go, I just kind of got, put in to another team, and I ended up being on a club team that was based out of San Francisco, I think, or somewhere here in California, and I never really kept up with any of them, because again, I was a little kid, and this was also before social media existed, and I'm pretty sure that absolutely none of them have any recollection as to who I am, unless, maybe this will blow up, and I don't know, who knows. I'm sure if I ever manage to get rich and famous, I'll have everybody, ringing me up like, hey, I'm your long-lost, fourth cousin or whatever, and I need $5,000. Well, go fuck yourself. Probably don't even look like me. Whatever. But no, I gotta find that next time I have a chance to go home, once all this bullshit's over, is back in my old parents' house. One of the whenever we played in the final championship game, which I was on the champion team, luckily for me, which I didn't even play. They literally sat me on the bench the whole time, because, I'll be honest, I kind of sucked. But back then, I was never a very active kid, and I didn't really, I wasn't like a sports guy. I really just did it to, just kind of hang out with, some friends. And as far as my soccer playing days, I kind of ended up being the last one of my friends, because they all ended up leaving after a while, or just whatever. And then, of course, I started getting into, I don't know, actually what happened is I ended up quitting, because, all my friends were gone. They didn't do soccer anymore. And then, at one point during one practice, because since I didn't do, like, any off-season stuff, because I just wasn't a sports guy, one of the early practices, whenever we were doing laps, I tore a tendon in my right hip, which was interesting, because it didn't hurt when it happened, but it was like all of a sudden my leg, I heard just a like that, but it was the tendon ripping or detaching from my hip. And I remember, my leg just stopped working all of a sudden, and I just skid on the grass, and, so they said, yeah, you're going to be out for a while. You better put some ice on it, and I think they said I was going to be out for, a couple months. No, it wasn't that long. Maybe it was just, a month and a half, or something like that. But, by then, I was just done. I didn't give a shit anymore, because I just, at the time, I kind of wish that I had stuck with sports a little bit, but I don't know, realistically, I didn't see any merit in it, because I just didn't give a fuck about sports. It's not something that, I'm really not a competitive person so much. I I don't feel the need to compete with. I feel like I don't really need to compete with other people to succeed. Which is, I don't know if some of you guys listen to like other podcasts, especially in regards to comedy. You know, you hear a lot about famine thinking, where people thinking that, you know, there's just not enough to go around. Well, there is. You know, you just need like the views and stuff like that. And, you know, as long as you're not saying, you know, wild, racist or shit or whatever, you'll be fine. For the most part. There's nothing wrong with a few haters. But I don't know. Before I'm not at the level where I even have haters yet. I need a few fans first. So, you know, come on, like and subscribe, please. And yeah, I'll just leave you guys with that. See you next time.